Hola, hola, hola. Buenas, buenas. Yo soy El Morano aquí para información poquito on ¿qué sabes Latino? Do you know Latin? Do you socialize with Latin? Are you hanging out with any Latin people? You buying from the Latin community? You working with any Latinos, Latinas? Um, basically just on here giving you basic information of how you should be socializing with the Latin America. Basically, that's over here. Giving you little stories, little inputs. Go check out my Twitter page, which is at Excellence Latin, and that has the latest and current events with the Latin community all over South America, Central America, going through the biggest, latest current events that has Latino presence involved. What's going on in Peru, what's going on in Colombia, what's going on in our very own backyard American. I think that's important, because the more migration that continues to happen and the more immigrants, Latin, that come to America, we are going to need to know how to move around, how to socialize, how to interact, how to trade with them. And especially as Black African American people, for some reason we kind of go with the flow, whatever's the latest, that's the greatest for us. So we don't really inform ourselves or try to associate with the cultures and the things that gonna kind of benefit us. I have no clue why. I'm a product of that environment myself, so I figure I get on here, try to give some information out. Who listening can get it. Who don't, you will need it at one point down the road. Anyway, so today I want to touch base on. Well, let's start with story time. Shout out to the resurrection that just happened, which has been happening for many years, but not the resurrection itself per se. It happened one time, so Christ rose from the dead one time, but we do celebrate the symbolism in Christianity. Shout out to all the Christian people out there. I am one myself. And we love that day. That's the only day that really differentiates us from the rest of the religions. No slight to the rest of the religions out there. We rock with you too. We love you, but Jesus is the one true Savior, and we do celebrate that to the fullest. So with that said, we had the Passover, and with the Passover, not the Passover, I'm sorry, with the resurrection, de la resurrección, as it's called in Espanol, you have, in America, you have 40 days until the resurrection. So in that 40 days, which starts Ash Wednesday and it leads up into, I think this year was April 9th, if I'm not mistaken, you fast. You take your body and you cleanse it and you abstain from all those foods that, kind of, that you like eating. Is more of a kind of a sacrifice, that, you are one with Christ, and you kind of dig in. So I had the pleasure of fasting. It is an honor to fast unto Christ. And I love it when it comes. It kind of is a disciplinary reset button for your body and food, especially if you're out there eating like me. You got a bunch of fat on your body like me. This is what you love to see every year. Even though it's very challenging, I think I lost about 14 pounds this year because I was eating just crazy last year, just living it up. Anyway, so I got myself together, got some of the fat off. I'm doing half decently, all right? So I'll be working on that. So anyway, before the fast, I was like running around figuring out how am I going to kind of get myself together in this fast? What am I going to eat? What are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I decided, for the first like 2-3 weeks, I was going to go just vegan meat, soy-based tofu, tofu, and all those like kind of meatless products. I was like, you know what? Just go grab that. Shout out to Guatemala. I got my Guatemala fit on today. You know what I mean? I like to wear, different South America hats. So if anybody in the comments want to throw me a hat to rock, let me know. So anyway, excuse me. I was like, let me go with some soy-based products. Got into the soy. The first week I was, eating soy meat, such as this, like Good Morning sausage. It's like a plant-based meatless sausage is called, like meatless beef, kind of making spaghettis with it. I was doing some tofu. I was also doing, it's like a plant-based fish. It's almost like a fish too. And I was like, the first week I was like, oh, I'm all right. I'm just getting healthy, not really paying it no mind. But, in getting healthy, I'm an ex-fitness trainer. As you can see, I talked about the fat earlier, but, it's X because there's a lot of fat in there. So I know a little bit about that plant-based arena. And I was saying to myself, oh, you know what? Let me just, continue on this road. I can maintain with my supplementation of the, cow meat for the plant-based meat. So I, did that for about 2 weeks, and I started to notice that my stool was, not going so well. I mean, I was using the bathroom, but anybody that's into watching their body and watching, your stool movements, your urine, what you're supposed to do, so that you always can tell how your health is going from those factors. So I just was noticing the stool was green, and I said, I don't like the way this soy and this meatless meat is making me feel. So I stopped. I was like, you know what? Let me get away from this meatless stuff. Let me just go vegetables and get my life together. Let me just do it the hard way, which that's what they did back in the day because, apparently Jesus was in the woods or wooded area where he ate fruits and berries and, he really didn't have any of this to deal with. He didn't have vegan meat he was eating from. So anyway, I went and did the vegan. I did away with the vegan. And I noticed my stool got better. I noticed that, it was no longer green. It was more healthier. I was doing movements every day. And it made me think. So I know you guys are wondering why, what does this vegan and this consecration and everything have to do with this Latin information that you're supposed to be giving me? This is a Latin channel. Espanol, ¿dónde? ¿Dónde español? All right, let me give it to you. So I found out about the soy. Where are we getting soy from? Or what's going on with the soy? What's going on with the soy industry? Well, I'm glad you asked me. Because a lot of our soy is produced in Brazil. And what Brazil does is Brazil imports a lot of the soy to America. I don't know the percentage per se. I didn't really get into the research of our percentage. But they not only supply America with soy, but they also are one of the biggest suppliers for China. And so China gets their soy from Brazil, and China, whatever it does, real big on soy. And I'm thinking, wow. So, we got this whole big thing going on now with that's been in the news real big, that Brazil and China are really trying to align, and they're trying to get into this trade route because now our ties is so bad with China that they don't want to continue our trade the way it was, or, we're getting more, let's say we're getting more suspicious of their shipments. A lot of their foods have failed inspections. So I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but we had to have a couple talks with I want to say the WHO, World Health Organization, and we had to talk about what's going on with the food. Why you guys failing inspection or whatever. And so we're talking about inspection, talking about food and everything with you guys, China and everything, and it's just a little rocky. So it made me think, okay, well, if Brazil is one of the largest distributors of the soybean, and they're distributing it to China, wait a minute, what is soy used for? I found out 77% of soy is not even used for food consumption, human consumption. Only 7% of soy is used for food, direct consumption. Now, 7% is a small percent. So I'm thinking, what is the other 77%? And I know 77 plus 7 don't add up and make 100. But it's 77% being used for animal feed. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. So we're eating this soy-based, plant-based craze that we're in, which everybody is on. Let's eat vegan and let's go buy vegan ice cream and drink soy milk and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. So we're doing all this, but really the soy is created for the agriculture for the animals. So 77% of Brazil's soy goes to China. I don't know if 77% goes to China, but I know 77% of soy is consumed by animals. It's animal feed. It's for animals. So why are we eating it? Or why is it this big craze? Especially in the black community. Y'all now mess with this greens, now mess with that fat bat or whatever. Now I'm into the soy. Okay. But if only 7% is consumed by, humans, why are we consuming it? So that's a big question you should ask yourself. And what I did was I was going into look at, where soy came from. And that's going to be something I want you to research. So apparently soy was produced in Brazil by these migrants. And these migrants came 20,000, 30,000 from where? 100 years ago from America. So yeah, the slave masters that didn't want to abolish slavery went over to Brazil because Brazil was the last country to abolish slavery. Those slave masters went to a place in Brazil called Americana. And what they did was they couldn't grow cotton because the land wasn't fermented for that. The soil wasn't fermented for that. So they grew sugar. I think they grew tobacco. And then now we got soy. So now, if you look at Brazil and its industry of soy, it is booming, making trillions of dollars all across the place. But then I started researching Americana, and I see that they still celebrate the Confederate flag over there. People that's celebrating it, they don't even know what the Confederate flag really means. They're just celebrating it because those are their ancestors, the 20 to 30,000 slave owners that didn't want to adhere to the rules and the abolishment of slavery said, look, we're taking whatever we got and we all assing to Brazil. So that's where they went, and that's where they relocated in a place called Americana. São Paulo is the municipal of Brazil, okay? And so that southern region of Brazil is where soy is created. And so there we have that tracking. So now you got slave owners making the soy, and now apparently it's really big in the African community. You go ahead and put that together. I'm not really touching it like that, but it just touch it like that because like 77% is for animal feed, but now we on a vegan craze, which is like 89%, 90% soy-based product. Yeah, all those meats and those meatless different things and that vegetable oil is all soy. Now, I'm not saying don't consume it, but I do want to put you on to a documentada, which is at DOCUMIRADA. What he put me on to was a video called Soyalism, and that's SOYALISM. I want you to go check out that video. Now, I'm not saying nothing, but in it has that China and how, the soy is producing bad diseases for the animals, or however it's going, where the animals are getting sick from the soy. And by the animals getting sick from the soy, it's producing all these diseases in the animal, such as, the swine flu or whatever. I don't know if it's exactly the swine flu, so don't quote me on that. But I'm thinking if the soy is, if there's bad soy and it's going to the animal feed and the animals are getting it, then when we consume the vegan food, aren't we getting directly hit from the bad soy? Anyway, I don't think we're paying attention because, medical reports say that, it lowers cholesterol levels and our thyroids, or this whole thing that's going on with the Columbia studies that come out, or the clinical trials that they've been trying out. So, I was looking at this soilism video. That's what it's called. And man, you guys got to look at it, or take a look into the video and see, how this soy connect with the animals and making them sick, and how it's putting our farmers out of business, our local farmers, and they're not allowed to really sell eggs. They're not allowed to really be in that commerce position to sell us that local food that actually helps us out. No, we're getting a lot of our agriculture, or a lot of our meats and different foods, our fruits, from China. And so the circle is going from Brazil to China to America. Okay? And so this is one of the big facts I want to touch on, is that when tú entiendes español poco, you can look around, you can, research in this sect, because I would have never really came to this conclusion with soy, that soy might be messing with my cuerpo a little bit, if I hadn't researched this document that was actually this guy who, again, it's called Edad Mirada, and he had this video out looking up socialism. And I was just in my, Spanish studies, and I seen soilism. I'm sorry, not socialism. Soilism, Soyalism. And I was looking at that video, and I was like, wow. And I was actually looking at the video in Espanol, and then I found it in English. So I hope that helps you out a bit. Check into soy, look at soilism, and hey, tú necesitas comprehend, entiendes mucho español, tú necesitas escuele mucho, because it's mucho information. You can find out a lot of things once you start digging into another culture about your own culture. Mucho respeto para ti, and hasta luego. Yo soy El Marano.